Hello print fans! Today I'm working with the Gelelf Gel Plate and Gelelf paints mostly. I have a long review of Gelelf products in the making. That is coming next week. Just be sure in advance that I don't get any benefits from them for reviewing their products. As soon as I have that review video finished, I will put the link here. This is a piece of cloth. Actually, it's a small table runner. In between these tree-like shapes, it has a very fine structure, like a fine net. I'm trying to push some paint, a Phtalo blue mixed with a red, from below through the net with my brayer. As usual, I will list all materials I use in the info box below. So this is a very delicate light print, and I will use it for a portrait of my dog. I had to do this week, as my older dog died last week, as was expected, and as an homage to her, I had to make this print. That is also the reason I didn't post much this week. I am sorry. No more snoring in my videos. My other dog doesn't snore. This will do for a very nice background for a photo transfer. As another method, I will try to push the paint through it from the top. And I'm using a blue color again. Actually, it wasn't a Phtalo blue, it was a Prussian blue, sorry. I put it just directly on the cloth and brayer a little. This was supposed to be just a test, so I made only a small space, but look what's coming out there. I have a mix of the paint I used before because it was on the brayer, and I love this structure, and we'll see how it prints. I am printing on watercolor paper. That is really a bargain. It's from the dollar store, and it's good enough if you have a nice print to use it as a painting, and I think it is. Do you see that fine structure there? Amazing. Now this is another piece of cloth that was comparatively expensive. It also has some very nice fine structures and a lot of holes in it. I'm very excited to see what it does. Now I'm printing from above, and you can tape it down with a masking tape, but it won't help much because it will move anyway. So it's best to go with the brayer only in one direction. Now I just noticed you probably don't see the gel plate at all. It's just a large gel plate, and I put a white sheet under it to see better what I'm printing. Now this one isn't so great, so I'll try it the other way around again, but this time putting the paint directly on the gel plate. And don't do what I did here to press the tube right on, because it's hard to get rid of the round patterns that the tube makes. Sorry, I'm a bit off camera. So I'm placing that cloth on top of it. I'm using a silk paper to get the paint off that is in the holes. I'm using a silk paper, oh no, sorry, it's called rice paper actually, because you can push it through the holes if you have small holes. It's very good for that. See? Works fine. And I'm taking the print on the lower side of that print I just made before. Maybe I can combine them in one paper. Takes almost everything off. It's beautiful, but I don't see anything that's inspiring me for now. But I'll make another one like this. So I want to combine this one with this one, but one of them I have to make new to get them on the same paper. Now this is a little experiment I'm making after I did some other experiments on the side there. And you can see that the paint that remained was already very dry, so it's got this scratchy, vintagey looking style, which comes from the Gelelf paints drying quite quickly, which is normally not so good. Here I'm trying to even get some more of the cloth structure in it. It's usually not so good, but you see that, come on, take the cloth off. Can't do nothing much with the cloth, but you can also like make shapes in their little patterns or so, and it's got that scratchy, rusty, vintagey style that I like. And I'm going to pick this up with a purple color. Gee, I always forget to get the little lids off. And I really like the Gelelf color shades. I wanted to say that, but more about that in my longer review video. And although it dries very fast, that paint is very good for pickups. It's a little dark maybe, but I like it. It'll make a nice background for some time. And this is a pickup of another test I made. I'm picking it up with a green this time. Very nice sap green. And while this two-layer pickup is sitting for a little while, maybe like 10 minutes, I'm fiddling around with the residues on that side again. As you can see, as it's dried already, the Brayer picks up a lot of the paint. A little too much, but I can show you again how with a soft silicone tool you can scratch in things. This is not very exciting, but I just wanted to show you that. You see how the paint is almost tearing away? I guess it had a lot of plastic in it. Another nice background, but not that interesting really. And I'm picking up this one, this little experiment with the pink. And even that layer picked up a lot of the other paint underneath, which is really not what it's supposed to do. So we'll have another quite nice background here. You can see here, you see that? This plastic paint almost comes off in some places, which can be good if you want to correct something. But now for the initially intended stuff. I have this picture of my dog that I, like 10 years ago, put through an app that made a comic-like thing out of it with a lot of crackles and everything. But it's really so typical of her face that I want to use this. So the gel plate works well for photo transfers, but in this case I'm not using the Gelelf paints, but my trusty Liquitex Basic Black. You see a little resist here because I cleaned it with a baby wipe, but that's interesting. I don't want to run any risks because I don't want to waste that lovely background. I don't know why I put so much paint on it. I only need that little space. Just rub only gently, otherwise all the paint will go off. This looks like This looks like my dog, so I can use it. I'm masking the other black off. It's a little complicated to register, but we'll see. And yes, I misregistered, but that works just fine for me. I really dig it. So I start the workout right away. I always start with the eyes, as I've often said before. And they are so important. You can relate to the portrait a little better if you have the eyes already. Very interesting effect. Yeah, that light around the right eye didn't really show too good. So I'm putting on a white pencil, but that doesn't work so great. And now I'm using my fabric marker. And to make that white pop out more, I just have to go around the rims with black paint, black pencil. Then you'll see the white parts better. Now the other parts of her face, those shadows, I'm giving the shadows some shadows. So I'm treating it like a relief somehow. I want it to stand out. And it's the same process as I always give shadows. You just imagine that the sun is coming from the upper left. You can have it from any direction, of course. You just have to make sure that you make them all the same direction. Someone commented the other day that my art is really a little abstract, but relating to realism, so that one can imagine that this would exist in another fantasy world or something of that like that. And I thought that was very flattering. Thank you. There are some little round spots up there in this texture. I'm not sure if this is her fur, but it probably is. But that doesn't matter. Gets shadows. I think the fact that I put this photo through another app and that she appears somehow ghost-like, I think that's very fitting to the passing of my dog. So now I'm working on the tree-like structures a little bit, enhancing them a little bit. But I'm not doing it all over the painting, just in certain spaces, because it would look too organized and too clean if I did it everywhere. And enhancing some of the black lines, but again, not too much. And the last thing I'm doing is going over the eye highlights with the gel pen. I'm cheating, but I really want the eyes to pop out, because that is, of course, the most important part of my dog. Divya was her name. And for the combination of these two, I obviously forgot to press record. I am so sorry. I did it with a bit of masking tape for the lower part and then printed on that other cloth. And I don't know how this happened. I probably just smeared some red paint with a tool with some open paint that wasn't dry yet. It's terrible because I'm, you know, making it wet and getting the upper side of the paper, the first layer of the paper sheet off, and by wetting it, and I have to be really, really careful not to tear the paper totally. Here I'm doing this with scissors, and then afterwards ironing it through another paper, and I'll make something out of this at this paint at this point of the picture. You'll see what I will do. And now I'm thinking about which way to turn the paper, and which will be the ground and which will be the sky or the land. In this case, this would be like a river or a sea, and the waves would coincidentally match with the hills in the background. This has a lot of movement. I like it a lot. So turn it around again, and this would be a mountain range with the sky on top, and there where it printed too light would be some clouds maybe. But I decide for the river option, and I start to work out the trees there. Also, like with the other one, I'm not working out all the trees. That would be just too obvious and too regular. And I'm using an indigo blue pencil. Then I'm switching to one of my favorite colors, the nougat, it's called, for the mountain range back there. It's a lot of fiddly work there, but I'm astonished again how much the paint, the gel plate and the stencils gave me as ideas. And I can do with some distraction today. If you're in a similar situation, just let me tell you, art is very healing. Just start fiddling with something, doodling or whatever. Works wonders. Now I'm trying something with the torn paper there. Whoops, I skipped something in the recording, I'm sorry. I made a water drop, but there's a lot more coming later, so you can see here you just need a top light and a lower light. I'll explain it later, there's more drops coming up. So if this river was a sky, I could make some clouds out of the light parts. But being a river, I'm a little unhappy with the light parts. So I'm cheating again. I'm gonna draw through that net, which is very difficult because it just moves all the time. And who's to say that this is cheating? It isn't, because in the end you are doing this for yourself. You're doing art for yourself, or maybe for a friend, or maybe for someone who wants to buy this. Whatever it is, it's just only important that you like it. So I always work my prints out, or almost always, and you can do the same. I realized that the pattern of this fabric is not very easy. There's always that round cell and then blue around it and the tangled up string that goes around all the drops, all the bowls. And also I'm making the top of the waves a little clearer. And I switched from the dark indigo to the Prussian blue, which is a lot lighter. And now here I can show you how you make a water drop. You have that reflection drop up there and the light coming from top left. And on the opposite side, you need this round half moon shape. That is the reflection of the first reflection. This is on top, on the left, it's where the light is going in the drop, and underneath is where the light is going out again. So I'm doing a lot of these. You see, it's quite easy. Also, I don't want to overwork it, so I'm not doing too many drops here. But it's enough to call this one River of Tears. Rest in peace, my love.